Welcome back to State of Decay 2. Whoa, there's a bloater. And there's a feral. Yikes. Okay, this is a great place to start a video. Um, so, it's been a little bit of an adventurous week. We just came out with update 25.2, which was meant to be kind of a smaller update. It was almost a hot fix. Not quite. But it included, several improvements that we had always wanted to make to the features that came out in Update 25, but that didn't quite make the cut for that release. And so, we very carefully, picked and chose a few upgrades to bring into that update. And, we tested them thoroughly in-house. We thought, oh yeah, this is just a minor thing, nothing we need to stress about. And we let it into the wild, and unfortunately, it contained a crash bug. And the story of this crash bug is actually kind of interesting to me because, I wonder where I'm supposed to find these materials. Maybe there aren't any in here. Maybe this is just a red herring building. Hello, zombie. Well, worst case scenario, at least I'm getting credit for killing zombies with blades. Anyway, so there are certain kinds of nightmare crash bugs that you can run into as a game developer. And this one kind of ticked all of the boxes because, first off, we tested that build thoroughly, like we do everything. But there are certain kinds of things that can happen. There's always discrepancies between the way that you test a game and the way that players play it in the wild. What's going on in players' save games will not always be the same as what you encounter in your test plans. And you try to make those test plans be as close to the player experience as possible, but it's never going to be 100%. You can't always predict how your test passes are going to be different from live play. And so we had tested it thoroughly. It felt like it was really solid, ready to go out. And so, we got it ready, we released it, and unfortunately there was a certain edge case that was very uncommon while we were testing the game that happened to be very common among long-term players of the game. And after I grabbed some materials or other things... What the... Hey, why are there zombies attacking me? I don't want zombies to attack me. Stop it. Let's just see if I can search this fast. Yep. Yay. All right, get out of here before they find me. Oh my gosh. Get off. No. 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 Oh. Feral, you can have that door if you want it. I'm picking the greatest occasion to be trying to explain a complicated situation. Let's get back home and I'll show you exactly what was going on with this crash bug. I believe that I've got the fix now. I believe that I've got the update that fixed the crash bug and that we're not about to watch me crash, but who knows, right? All right, let's just send this stuff in. So normally we've got crash reporting software. Basically, whenever a crash happens in the game, there is a process that the game goes through where it assembles a report of what was going on in the game when the crash happened, and then it submits that report to us. And we collect them all. We're aware of every crash that happens in the game, mostly. And so when we released the game, at first it seemed like everything was fine until we started getting these reports of a crash from some of our hardcore players, and we were like, what? There's a crash? And we looked at our crash report. And we were like, oh, there's a couple of crashes that might be, there's never zero crashes. There's always something that's going to cause a crash, whether it's external to the game or whatever. And so we looked, we're like, there's a couple of crashes that might be a little higher than the others. We started investigating those, but none of them seemed very common. And so it was like, maybe this isn't that big of a deal. I don't know. We kept investigating, and we realized that the crashes that we were getting reported had nothing to do with the crashes that the audience was telling us about. And so not only did we have this crash that had gotten past all of our test passes, but also it was getting past our crash reporting software. And so there was we didn't even know it existed. And it was really tough because the crash reporting software, it tells you exactly what was going on in the game. And usually, not always, but usually it can sort of help a programmer zero in on what part of the game they should be looking at in order to just start diagnosing what might have gone wrong. But in this case, there was no crash reports coming into our office, nothing. And so we just had to rely on a lot of different reports coming in from players. And we actually had a lot of help from the audience, which was really good because, folks were coming in and telling us, yes, okay, I definitely have the update because I would have crashed by now highlighting this gun. So it always happened when somebody was navigating around in their inventory with the supply locker open. And it never happened anywhere besides the supply locker. And it seemed to be associated with your weapons, but people weren't sure exactly why. And we would get these different conflicting reports from people about what the cause was. So somebody said, oh, it always happens when I've got a mod installed. Somebody else would be like, well, it only happens when my weapon is damaged. And then somebody would say, well, it only happens... Wait, is there a freaking feral in here? Did it chase me all the way home? Okay, you guys got him? You guys got him. All right, cool. And so, so the programmers that volunteered to sort of chase this thing down, they were looking at, the mod system, they were looking at the, at the ammo, they were looking at places in the UI, and it was really hard to figure out what was going on until somebody had the insight that the fact that all of these different conditions had to be met meant that the problem wasn't with the guns, and it wasn't with the ammo, and it wasn't with getting damaged, it wasn't with weapon mods. It was with the utility bar at the bottom of the screen. That line of icons you see down there, A for store, X to unequip, Y to drop, RT to a detach mod. The problem was if you had 8 items on that list, that would crash the game. And unfortunately, this requires a bunch of different stuff. Like that hold A to repair. That's only there if your weapon is damaged. RT to detach mod is only there if you've got a mod on your weapon. Y to unload is only there if your weapon is loaded. Your X to salvage is only there if you've got a workshop. And so under a lot of conditions you could test the game under, especially if you're just sort of cheating together a random community and running around and just making sure that things aren't broken, you're not going to have every single slot filled when you go to the supply locker to swap your weapons out. But our hardcore players definitely almost always are running with guns that are fully tricked out, that they've been using on zombies, that have, so therefore they need to be repaired, that sort of thing. So it was a really easy thing for us to miss internally, and a really common problem for players to run into out in the wild. But because it wasn't reporting to our crash detection stuff, our crash reporting system, we had no idea what was going on for a while. So I gotta say, I don't have their permission to say their names on the air, and so I'm not going to, but there were a couple of programmers who were absolute heroes following up on this and figuring out what the crap was going on and getting a fix put together really fast so we could release it to the wild. We first released it to the public test realm to make sure we're not just adding another crash on top of the original crash, but it seemed really solid, and so we, at the end of the day yesterday, we went live with the fix to everybody. So that's why I was able to open my supply locker and look at my Valentine gun and not crash the game right now, is because they fixed it. And so huge kudos to the programmers on my team. They're awesome. And so, yeah, so Raneth Court is asking, so was that the 23 megabyte or whatever patch to the beta yesterday? Yeah, so when we did a patch to the beta, that was us testing this fix live. And so now, the lesson that we've learned from this is that we always have to go live to the public test realm before we go live to the game in general. Because no matter what, even if, we've learned, okay, there's definitely a thing we know we need to check now whenever we're testing our game and making sure it's ready to go live. But there are 200 other edge cases we haven't thought of yet, and that's just always going to be the case. There's always going to be some discrepancy between our ability to test the game with our, maximum couple dozen people working on testing the game versus your ability, thousands of you out there, to catch bugs and crashes in the wild. And so what we need to do from now on is just always go live, even with a minor update. Always go live to the public test realm first. Let people who have volunteered to play a less stable version of the game, let them try it out first. Find out if there's a problem that is worth delaying the larger update for. And then have, the updates that go live to the full audience, have them always be a lot more reliable. Oh, crap. So I just realized, to satisfy this builder mission, I just used all of my materials. That's not a smart move. Let's find some more real quick. Okay. So, I feel like I should. I should repair this car before I go out with it again. Or actually, maybe I'll just go out in a different car. Okay, so where is... Oh, up here? Is that where they're sending me? Okay, so there's some materials up here someplace. And also, I think there's a bunch of untapped material sources, like, down here. Somewhere. This one. And that one. That's kind of a long drive, though. I don't have a lot of gas. Okay, you know what? I am going to fix up these cars. Cog says that that he usually tears down his staging area and rebuilds it for this mission. That's certainly an option. I mean, the thing is, I've been wanting to upgrade that garden anyway for a while, so I don't mind doing it. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was grabbing some gas and gas up multiple cars, and I should also craft myself some repair kits. Don't worry, you won't have it for long. Because, of course, everyone knows when you use, you know, a wrench and a bunch of tools on a vehicle one time, they're always destroyed. That's just reality. It's a tough world that we all have to live in. All right. And we'll take this one. Actually, wait, I was going to gas up. That's right. I was going to gas up this car as well. Magic Man says I should stop buying wrenches at Walmart. But anyway, so the point is that that we're very sorry that we let this crash bug out into the wild. We've definitely learned a lot from it, and it's been inspiring for me to see my team's reaction to it. Both, you know, jumping right into solving it, you know, the way that they did, and figuring out some pretty arcane stuff about what was actually causing it. That was really impressive, and then I really appreciate, you know, the decisions that the folks in charge have been making about sort of strategically how we're going to avoid this stuff in the future. Because, man, like, there's some people who are very cynical about game developers who are like, oh, these lazy game developers don't care or whatever, anytime anything goes wrong. And internally, you know, like the experience of finding out that a crash bug like this got into the wild is so just like, we hate it so much. Like, there's nothing worse for a game developer than to realize we've let a mistake through, and it becomes like, fixing it becomes our absolute top priority. And so it was kind of fun, you know, from the inside, seeing my coworkers react to this and how they just, you know, jumped right in and solved it and dropped everything in order to make sure that the game, you know, was as stable as possible. I don't know. It was fun to see, and it's a nice antidote to, again, like a lot of the cynicism and stuff that you hear from folks. Okay, so now I don't actually use this. I don't use this radio option very often. So I don't know if... Have I already scavenged this place? I probably have. If I can see the... this place is too huge. I'm not going to bother. It had one container that was unsearched. So, well, actually, it had one container that was unsearched. Where is the tall box in here? This very well might have been... It might have been given sort of a free rucksack to satisfy the mission. If it was, it would be in the tall box, probably. But where's the tall box? Every site is supposed to have a tall box in case we need to... Oh, wait, no. Oh, this is not the tall box. But this might actually have materials in it, just for its own reasons. There they are. Okay, cool. Now, are there any other places around here that... Oh, there are still places that might have even more materials. So I'm going to keep looking for materials while I'm up here. Then we'll head back down. and help out with the siege. Magic Man 79 says the tall box is the quest box. The tall box is the backup box. So the original plan was that each building has got sort of a set of containers in it, and who are these people? And each container knows what kinds of stuff it's allowed to contain. And so the first thing a mission does is it tries to find a container that is, if a mission needs to put a particular item in a particular site, it'll first try to find a container that would naturally support that item. But the problem is, most of the items that you search for in a mission are like special items that don't really appear in normal loot, and so a lot of the time the system will not find. It won't find a container that's appropriate for the item. Now, in this particular case, in this particular mission that we just played, it was a rucksack of materials, and the game specifically, the mission specifically tries to cast sites that are appropriate for materials. And so it's actually very likely that it will find, like you saw, that it will find a container that is perfectly appropriate to contain the materials rucksack. So like it looked in a warehouse, and the warehouses are full of things that contain materials. And so in that mission it worked just fine. But in most missions, it won't find a good place for the item. And so each site has got a backup container that is allowed to contain anything. And those containers always look like these tall boxes. And so if you see the tall box and you're on a mission looking for an item, chances are the item's in the tall box. All right, well, that was a nice, useful trip. I've got room for just a couple more things. Actually, let me put one more thing in the back just to maximize my own inventory space like that. And then might as well search in this house because it's right here. Then we'll head back for the siege. I heard something breathe in. Oh, there it is. Oh, wait. I've got a bounty. I'm trying to kill things with blades. I shouldn't have shot that zombie. Okay. I think that filled my inventory. Yes, it did. Well, let's get out of here. So Magic Man 79 says, "Oh yeah, I'm aware of those those boxes. We call them quest boxes. Yeah, that's basic. I mean, that's a perfectly appropriate name for them. I think that if we had had more time to spend on that particular feature, we probably would have found a way to make it a little bit more naturalistic and a little less like, always look in the tall box. But there were other things that ended up being more important to us, so we spent the time on that instead. Where am I headed? Yes, the right direction." Cog says that sometimes the old lawman's viper is in the fridge. Well, I mean, you want to hide a precious valuable. People won't look for it in the fridge, I guess. There's my base. Oh gosh, hello. Let's just take care of those guys while we can. There are so many screamers around here. I'm just gonna... Oh! What the? The siege hasn't even started yet. What is this? I'm gonna have to deal with all of these... Oh, there's a bloater? Probably because... Yeah, I drove past a screamer. The screamer screamed and summoned a bloater near itself, which was a recent change that we made with Update 25.2. Now, instead of spawning bloaters right on top of you, screamers spawn them near themselves. So if you're shooting past a screamer, instead of spawning a bloater on the road in front of you, which they would sometimes do, they spawn a bloater near themselves. And so their little horde gets bigger. But, oh wait, let me dump off some stuff. Their little horde gets bigger, but you aren't forced to to deal with a sudden landmine. I'm just going to hold on to this fire in case I need it during the siege. But, yeah.
We may be outnumbered, but we're a lot smarter than they are.
So here's another thing I should point out. I've got this bounty right now to kill zombies while crouched. This is something in the critical response pack. I forgot which one it is, but killing zombies while crouched is actually not... that's not enough. You also have to have either you have to use a melee weapon, which is going to be quiet, or you have to have a suppressor on your gun. If you don't have a suppressor on your gun and you're just crouching and, say, firing a revolver at zombies, it's not going to count. And unfortunately, that's just it's a simple text bug. It's the kind of thing that's really easy to slip in. That basically, we had an issue for a while where our bounties would say, stealth kill zombies, or language to that effect, and it would sometimes be unclear to players what they were supposed to do. What does stealth killing a zombie mean? And so in most cases, what it means is killing a zombie while crouched. And so we changed the language because that was actually the requirement. That was actually the thing we were checking for a lot of our bounties, was just is the player crouching or not when they do this kill, and therefore if they do, it's a stealth kill. And that works in melee, but there's an additional qualification when you're fighting with when you're fighting with a ranged weapon, which is you also have to have a suppressor or a crossbow or something like that if you want it to count as a stealth kill. And so in most cases, when we changed the language to say while crouched, it stayed accurate. It was still true after we made the text change. But in the case of this particular bounty, it made the bounty incorrect. So I've made a text change that I think the next time we do an update, I've made a text change that will make that bounty clearer. But for right now, you just kind of have to know that that's how you do it. So you can see, yeah, if I'm crouching and using a suppressor, I can fire that thing off. Oh, okay, there's the Juggernaut. Oh, there's a Screamer too. Great, and now there's going to be a Bloater as well. Oh, that's a zombie too. For some reason, I thought that was one of my friends. Okay, one of my friends is screwed right now unless I can do something about this freaking zombie. Oh, he's down, he's down. And then a bloater just went off. Okay, somebody's sick. Who's sick? Looks like Richie's sick. Okay, before Richie gets himself in any more trouble, let's put him in the infirmary. Is that it? Oh, there's another one in the back corner over here. Nope. Oh, hello. Whew! Okay, that was a tough one.
I'm down to my last magazine here.
So one thing that somebody reminded me of earlier was that we added a feature fairly recently that lets you check people into the infirmary even if they don't have full-on blood plague. So I should probably grab my most infected people and do exactly that with them. But Richie here has got blood plague, so let's grab... I know I've got a cure already. Let's grab a cure. And get him all fixed up. My infirmary's in here, right? There's Richie. He had less than 1 minute to live when I checked him into the infirmary. Wow. We almost lost my special fireman. Dougie Fresh says Screamers calling in bloaters is just free influence. In fact, I've been ignoring the chat a little bit because that was a pretty intense siege. Cog says in the missions that involve finding dead people, if you show up early, you'll watch them die instantly when the mission decides to off them. Yeah, that is how we create dead bodies. We don't have a system in our, or we don't have like a what the. We don't have a tool in our game that lets us just create a dead body from scratch. We have to create a character first and then script the character to die. And so, yeah, I'm sure it's totally possible to jump into the game, and if you're moving quickly enough, you can chase down a mission faster than it expects, and then watch that character just be scripted to their head just explodes. And that's funny, like, when we script a character to die, that's what happens. Their head just explodes out of nowhere. So, Cogs wants to know, does telemetry track if one buys a vehicle in someone's world? Such gifting in MP should be encouraged, in fact, rewarded with a bit of prestige. I mean, people have lots of ideas of how we should give them extra prestige, Cogs. So that's not even the first one of those that I've heard. But actually, just thinking about prestige in general, you know, there are a lot of players who have asked us for new ways to earn prestige, and I agree. The intent for prestige was always for us to do a little bit more with that currency than we've done with it so far. And unfortunately, like, a lot of the I don't know, some of the early like updates and DLCs that we did were kind of treated almost like independent, separate products, and they weren't really treated very holistically. And so, you know, when we came up with prestige for Daybreak, we imagined, oh, this will be part of a larger strategy that'll involve, you know, multiple ways to earn prestige and multiple ways to spend it. And then that investment just never got made anywhere. So we've got some ideas now for how we can incorporate it. Because the thing is, people have a lot of ideas for like, oh, why don't you give me prestige for this? Why don't you give me prestige for that? The problem is, whatever the first thing we do is, will become basically the center of the game for some people. You know, it's like if we added just one way to get prestige, some people would go out and that is the only thing they would do for weeks. And so we have to be very cautious with that. Whenever we do add some additional way to get prestige, we need to add something that is comprehensive and broad, that isn't just going to completely unbalance the game for people, that gives them lots of different ways to earn prestige, so that it doesn't just turn it into, you know what I'm saying. Like, into the loot cave from the first Destiny. When Destiny first came out, there was this one particular cave that would just consistently spawn enemies into a choke point. Let me run down here. I'll grab even more materials. It would just spawn enemies directly into a choke point. And so players, even though it was really low-level, crappy loot, it was just in the very first area of the game, players would just line up next to that thing and just fire their weapon into that cave, because it was just... It was an easy way to get resources, even though those resources were very minor, and playing that way wasn't fun. They would still do it, because if you give someone an economic motivation, that'll often trump their intrinsic motivations to play the game. Whether they like it or not, they could actively not enjoy the way they're playing, and still feel compelled to play that way. And so when you're dealing with something that has sort of an economic bent, like prestige, you have to be extremely cautious with how you introduce it into your game, because, I mean, I think that is kind of what Daybreak is for some people. You know, it's a thing that they need to grind in order to get this resource that they can't get any other way. And sometimes a lot of the players that do it don't even like playing Daybreak, but they do it because they want the economic benefit. And so at some point in the future, when we do add some other way that you can earn prestige, you know, I think we can expect engagement with Daybreak to drop significantly. But that might just sort of be a necessary evil for, you know, helping players who want to stay engaged with the core game and who come to this game because they want to have the core experience and feel like they're sort of left out in the cold because that doesn't give them access to prestige. But yeah, it is weird to sort of be a human and realize how weird my motivations are. You know, that like, because all these things I'm talking about, this isn't just something that, you know, that I think like, oh, I'm a game developer, and isn't it weird how players behave this weird way? Like, I behave this way too as a player. If there's an economic motivation for me to do something, I do it. And I can just watch myself playing games in a way that makes me unhappy and being absolutely unable to stop. So lately, I have been trying to cheese my bounties by getting them when I'm playing multiplayer with my son. I have not been able to. This one about killing zombies with blades, and this other one about killing zombies while crouched. I have not made quite as fast progress on those as I want to, so I need to start paying attention to that.
Okay, that's a bit heavy.
Yeah, so people have got a lot of suggestions for interesting ways to let people earn prestige, including things that happen on a daily or a weekly schedule, which is a pretty good idea actually. So it kind of reminds me of when I worked in the mobile industry, and a lot of the time, like what we were focused on was trying to get daily engagement from players, and there was sort of like there were statistics and telemetry that sort of told people
I just told the Zeds right where to find me.
that players who play every day are the ones who spend money. Therefore, and this is the way that people often think when it comes to sort of, oh crap, this is, oh gosh. Anyway, this is the way a lot of people think when it comes to telemetry. They say, oh, we've observed that players who do X also do Y. So if we want players to do Y, we need to get them to do X. And that's actually kind of fallacious. Like, that's not really how it works. Like, a lot of the times, what you're really seeing is two different symptoms of the same situation. You know, I think that the players who spend money on a game, particularly like a free-to-play game, in my mind, they're the players who have a strong feeling of commitment to the game, who've tied up their identity a lot in that game. They think of themselves as like, I am a, say, State of Decay. I am a State of Decay player. And that's a huge part of who they are. Like, and I think if somebody thinks of themselves that way, or say, you know, I'm a Star Wars fan, and so I will buy a bunch of Star Wars merch, and I like wearing it outside so that people know I'm a Star Wars fan. Other Star Wars fans will recognize me, and people who don't know much about Star Wars will ask me about it, and I'll get to talk to them about Star Wars. You know, like that's kind of a, you know, identifying that strongly with an IP or a brand or something like that is something that people do. I mean, I've got several of those. You know, a lot of my wardrobe is made up of video game T-shirts, advertising the video games that I like, and I'm very proud of my taste in video games, and I like other people to know about it and to ask me about it. And so, yeah, so I'm, you know, a fan of certain things, and it's people who identify as a fan of something who really want to spend a bunch of extra money, sort of demonstrating their commitment, you know, and investing in the thing that they care about. And so what you'll see is also fans of games, they're the ones who play them every day. And so artificially trying to force someone to play a game every day, you can do that. You can use like economic motivations to get someone to play a game every day. That's not actually going to turn them necessarily into a fan of your game. Maybe it gives them multiple extra cracks at it. Like if there's a chance they might become a fan and they just need to play it enough to realize it, maybe you'll get a few extra people that way. But it's not just going to turn everyone who plays every day for your daily bonus. It's not going to turn them into fans who want to invest. Not all of them. You know, not on any kind of regular basis. But that's sort of like, that's kind of the danger sometimes of having access. Ooh, wow, I've got so many materials now, I don't even have room for them all. That's a danger of excessively focusing on telemetry. It's the fact that you can easily sort of it's easy to jump to the wrong conclusions sometimes, and sort of yeah, like read fallacies into it that are not legitimate. Okay, wait a minute. The builder wants me to build something that will provide power. But I've already got a power. Oh my gosh. I think I just found a bug. This mission doesn't recognize the wind farm as a source of power. So it wants me to build something else. Now, do I have a... Okay, I've got a bike generator. Let's see if that will count. Because if I have to cut down one of my facilities to build a generator, that's going to be super annoying. Let me take a note that I definitely need to follow up on this. So, wind farm satisfy builder mission? Question mark. Okay, yeah. I'll have to. I hope that at least that building this mod will work. If not, then yeah, we got a problem. Okay, so Jedi Psych Tricks points out that I'm probably overstating my case about considering oneself a fan of a game. That is one of the best ways to sort of get someone to financially invest in a game, is to have them be a fan, identify themselves that way. But she's pointing out that a lot of the games that make a lot of money, like, they're not the kinds of games, not the kinds of IPs that somebody would be able to consider themselves a fan of. Like, there are lots of Fortnite players out there who identify as Fortnite players, but there's not a lot of, like, say, people who play, individual slot machine games who consider themselves like the, fans of that slot machine game. But they do still sort of incorporate it into their lives as a habit. Like it becomes a part of their life in some sort of like meta level way that is more than just, oh, I'm playing this game right now because it's fun. It's like, I go to this game regularly as a source of entertainment. So you're right that, like, considering themselves a fan of the IP is only one expression of that kind of commitment. And there's a lot of other ways, having a game as a habit, having it as sort of just like, there's just a little time wasty thing that I do. Those also count. And even if the player doesn't have the same level of, like, say, admiration and sort of an awe for the IP that they might have for things that they're fans of, it still sort of is incorporated into their life in a way that makes it bigger than just, sort of like a passing game. So Mama Tinker is giving me props for taking notes on that bug and seeing if it... Okay, looks like... Really, the facility mod doesn't... I guess, the facility mod doesn't give us base-wide power, so, I guess I can see why that wouldn't count, but... Oh, that's very frustrating, though. Oh. Okay, but you know what? My morale is really, really good right now, so... I guess to satisfy the builder, we'll get rid of our latrine because our morale's fine anyway. We'll build a generator. And then later we'll get rid of it again and replace it with a latrine. And then while that's going on, we are still short on meds and fuel. So let's go across the street and mess with this fire station. Jedi Psych Trick says, if there was... Oh, crap. I should deal with that. Oh, they're making bloaters. Okay. So I've got... Oh, this guy doesn't have a blade on his back. I want to be fighting zombies with blades, and he doesn't have blades. We'll head back home after this, and we'll grab a blade. Yeah, so it's kind of funny to me. Like, the way that I got started with State of Decay was I was working at a mobile company, and I was in, sort of in my spare time developing an idea for a mobile game that was basically State of Decay. Like, I set it on a road trip rather than at a settled base, mostly just because it was a mobile game and I wanted it to be meaningful for people to be traveling around while playing it. But that was the only difference, really. I mean, it was basically a community building survival sim, but the idea was for it to be on mobile. And then I went to PAX and I met this team called Undead Labs that was making a game called State of Decay, and it wasn't out yet, but it was basically exactly the game I wanted to make. And so I started a dialogue with them, and about a year later, after the original State of Decay came out, is when they hired me. But the reason I joined the studio was because they were already making the game, sort of the dream game that I wanted to make on my own. And so while there's not a lot of people out there who actually get to make their dream game, and I'm one of them. I've never gotten to sort of sit down from scratch, develop a new IP, and build it from scratch, which is, it's pretty common to not have that experience in the game industry. I've gotten the next best thing, which is somebody else making my dream game and then hiring me to help them. And you could do a lot worse than that. I love... I love the way that the finisher on the heavy weapons works. That when you're doing the finisher on the ground, you also knock down the zombies that are around you at the time. So you can actually chain from one finisher to the next, each time knocking down another zombie that you can then finish. How many freaking zombies are coming in here? If I'd had a blade, I would have been done with this freaking bounty already. Okay, anyway, is that everyone? I'm still missing one room. Okay, so now I've searched... Wait, no, I still haven't searched all the rooms. Have I? It's still red here, so I must not have. Is there a room on this side? Oh, there's a zombie on this side. That's what it is. There we go. So now the containers are going to be highlighted.
I'm finally ready to get back on my feet. Sorry to be a burden.
Cog suggested my dream game would be like a State of Decay Tactics, basically. And maybe that's true. Maybe I would love a game like that, but I've got lots of dream games. I mean, there's so many different games that I would make if I just had unlimited time and money. It's hard to even list them. Okay, so the fire station is so big that even when we highlight the containers... Okay. Okay, so we're turning on the generator. Okay, now I need to craft an item that requires power or water. What requires power? I'm actually not sure what requires power and water. I assume... There we go, water. So I can just craft a bunch of painkillers, I guess. I do need to start replacing my meds, though. I do have a meds outpost and a bunch of influence. Yeah, let's increase our meds income. And actually, our ammo income too. Burning a bunch of influence, but I think it's worth it. Alright, so I'm missing one container in here. Where is it? What? What have I done? Oh, right. I fully upgraded a resource outpost. I forgot about that new achievement we added. Cool. Well, nice. Oh, there it is. Way over here in the back. Uh-oh. You hear that, Feral?
I'm all done here.
Okay, cool. I actually came here for fuel. I've only got a sniper rifle. Not the best for ferals. Oh, crap. That feral knows something is up. He just doesn't know where. Come here. Come here, guy. Stop. Crap. Come on, stop for a second. Stop. There we go. All right, let's take this stuff home. Oh, wait, actually, do I have room? There's another fuel source around here. I should probably grab that while I'm here. I don't really have a lot of room, though. But it's fine. It's fine. Let's see if I can get another fuel rucksack, because we are running so low. There we go. Another fuel rucksack. Yeah, so we haven't really... Folks are asking about, what happens when all the humans are dead? What do the zombies do? And I'm actually not sure. We haven't really established that in our lore. Because one thing we haven't really depicted zombies doing much else besides attack humans. And so they might just sort of like slowly get worse, slowly decay basically until they're all sessile and can't move anymore. And then it's just nothing. Evolution's got to start over, find a new sentient species. Or not, Maybe Earth lives out the rest of its days without anyone to observe, which is, kind of a melancholy outcome. All right, let's drop some stuff off. Cast making kit. Oh, okay, good. We actually needed something like that. All right, let's fuel this. No, not ride. Get out of there. Get out of there. Oh, Jedi Psych Tricks. I will have to tell the author that you really like the book I, Zombie that I recommended earlier. I'm glad that you picked it up. That's cool.
We got extra supply. Anyone up for a trade? Come on by.
Oh, we've got a wandering trader. Okay, I was about to wrap this up because, I've been playing for a little while, but maybe I shouldn't. Actually, let's grab one bullet. Why not? I'm going to grab myself noodle knife, parang. Let's go parang. If there's a wandering trader out here, how close are they? Oh, they're real close? Yeah, okay. Let's load up on stuff we want to sell. Let's go and uninstall this bike generator. It's unnecessary. Uninstall this generator, which is unnecessary. Let's build ourselves another latrine, like before. Let's install this cast-making kit, which is unnecessary, but I don't know. There's something in my head. Like, this upgraded infirmary already does what the cast-making kit does, but I just like having all the slots filled with appropriate things. So there we go. So yeah, okay, let me open the supply locker and let's grab a bunch of stuff we want to sell. So, oh, you know what we don't need? A Molotov. You know what we don't need? This extra bullet.
All I've got is what's left in this mag.
So let's grab all of our luxuries. And then we have 2 slow cookers. That doesn't seem necessary. I don't need a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to... Oh, another thing I should do. Salvage those weapon parts. I'm just going nuts with the facility actions because we just had a siege, which means there's not going to be another siege for a while. So I can up my threat all I want.
Survival depends on people. We need more of them, which means we have to make this a place worth living in.
Okay, Builder's got more garbage he wants me to do. What is it? Oh, right. He wants me to build the sniper tower. All right, well, first, let me grab this soldering station, slow cooker, and bike generator, and, I don't know, the pesticide. Whatever, I'm not going to use all these mods. Sell these suckers. And still head down to that trader. So I guess I don't really use the keg cooperage. It's got free upkeep, which is nice. But I did just collect a bunch of materials I'm not going to use too. So let's dismantle it. Hopefully, if everything goes right, I won't be playing this campaign much longer, and so I won't really need to worry about long-term maintenance, because I do want to end this community with a builder legacy. So let's head down to the trader while that stuff's building. And once we've wrapped up these builder missions, then we'll wrap up the session. So Dougie Fresh wants to know if the cast-making kit means that people will heal up faster. I don't think it does. I think it just flips the switch that makes it possible to restore, to recover from injuries. Because because recovering from trauma, which is sort of the generic extra damage, the damage to your max health that you take once you are knocked down by the zombies, and you're sort of struggling to get up again. That generic trauma is healed by resting pretty simply. I think if you just have a regular old infirmary, or maybe you don't even need that. I don't remember now. But discrete injuries, things like gas inhalation and stuff like that, doesn't get healed unless you've got a fancy facility. So I'm gonna just sell everything I can to this guy. He doesn't even have enough to pay me, so let's see what he does have. Mechanics textbook, toolkit, sure. Ooh, signal antenna. I've already got a bunch of those, but I'll probably grab another one. Just because I got the cash, why not? And then I'm a fan of toolkits. So let's swap these out now in my car. Bunch of zombies over there. So I'm going to grab these things and drop off these things.
Are you willing to barter? Sure.
And then sell, 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 sell. And I think we're good. I could buy parts from him, but why? All right, and we'll head back home. But anyway, yeah, so those discrete injuries, those only get healed automatically if you have certain facility upgrades or facility mods. So unfortunately, yeah. So that cast making kit that I installed, I just installed it to feel complete. I'm pretty sure it does nothing. I think all it does is turn on the healing of injuries, which is already true if you've got an upgraded infirmary, which I have. So it was a waste, but I don't know. It makes me feel good. So Magic Man says that the text on the cast making kit needs to be changed if what I'm describing is right. Well, hold on. Why? Resting removes injuries, I think that's true. What is it that... So yeah, so like my Infirmary 3, what it already does is passively heal health and injuries. And now I've got this resting removes injuries additional effect from the cast making kit. Those are just redundant. They both mean the same thing. So Magic Man says that he's wasted hours with that particular mod installed, thinking that it would increase the rate. So I'm pretty sure that if it increased the rate, it would say so. I think all it says is just it's got this binary effect. But I mean, I'll make a note to double check that. Magic Man, just to make sure that I'm right about that. It could easily be that I'm making a bad assumption based on my own knowledge of how some of this stuff works under the hood. So let me just double check the cast making kit. And if it does something that I'm not aware of, then I will certainly let you know next stream. But yeah, that's how I understand it to work. Okay, so time to build a sniper tower. Oh, I need 4 labor. Well, quit being busy, everybody. Finish the latrine. Finish the latrine. Wait, okay, so Magic Man is saying... So I was looking at the text on the actual facility mod when it's in the facility, but does it? No, it's entirely possible that I've gotten this wrong because there could have been an earlier version of the cast making kit that didn't. No, I don't see it saying plus 33% healing anywhere. I don't see it here. Does it say it in? Okay, so right here, I've got 4 effects from the infirmary. Right? So I install the cast making kit, and this does not say it adds to the healing rate or anything like that. And so it's installing that. It's going to take a little bit. Let me install this sniper tower while I'm at it. So after that's installed, we'll see if at any point it says that it adds to healing. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Now, that's not a crazy idea. Like having it also add to the healing rate so that it doesn't lose its value when you upgrade your infirmary. That's a good plan. I think that makes sense. I think if we were to change it to that would probably be a good move. But as far as I know, that's not how it works right now. Okay, Falldown says that he remembers it saying that too. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, there are definitely other mods that might do that. Like I think there's like the there's like the foam, I forgot what it's called. Like something like foam, like high-tech foam bandagey stuff that I think might have an effect like that. Or yeah, there are other mods. Maybe it's just not the cast making kit. I don't remember that changing. Stabilizing foam, yes, thank you, Magic Man and Dougie Fresh. Oh, but Cog says the foam isn't passive; it has an active effect. Okay, then yeah, I don't know anything about the history of this, and whether it might have changed and why it would have changed. But let's double check what it says in the infirmary after I've reinstalled it, and just see. This game is so big and complicated. Like I can't. No one knows every single detail. And so sorry that I'm not just the expert on this particular thing, but yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not the kind of thing that I usually know every detail about. So while we're at it, oh wait, no, we're all out of labor. This is a very low labor community. Partly because I'm spending it on the wind farm, and partly because I've got one guy who's just bad at doing work. All right, here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it still has 4 effects plus resting removes injuries. Yeah, I don't see anything in here that says that it adds to the healing rate. So yeah, so I think it's a pretty reliable assumption that it does not have an additional healing effect right now. If it did in the future, if it is in the future, if it did in the past at some point, that makes sense. I mean, things do change over time. I'm not sure exactly what would have triggered us changing it or anything like that. I don't think I was a party to whatever decision that would have been. If it used to be one way and now it's a different way. But I certainly want to look into it now. I'm very curious about what would have caused that. So. So Magic Man, as I understand it, I think that the purpose of the cast making kit historically has been to provide the injury healing benefit to people who don't have a level 2 infirmary, which means that it's really only valuable early on in the game, which is the reason why I think the suggestion of having it also increase the healing rate or something like that is a really good one, because you don't want something to just stop being valuable late in the game. You want things to continue having value even after the player's invested more time. So it would certainly make sense. That's the reason why I say it would make sense for us to change it. Another possibility is that it absolutely does have that same effect, but because we don't manually, most of the time we don't manually enter a lot of this text. Things like passive, like 3 plague treatment beds, -2 meds per day, -1 materials per day, resting removes injuries. That text is auto-generated from the features of the of the facility or the facility mod or whatever. Just when you have certain, like if I went in and I changed what the infirmary did, it would automatically show the things that I had changed without me having to rewrite the text manually. So it's entirely possible that actually it does have that effect, but something changed in the way that we auto-generate the text. And so it could just be that it does have an ability, and we changed something that caused that ability to no longer be advertised. That's another option, and I genuinely don't know what it could be. Mama Tinker wants to know what I think the most underutilized base is. Well, I would have to look at the telemetry to see which ones are not popular. I think that I believe that there are certain bases, like say Whitney Field, that are just the largest bases that end up getting the most play, because players who are advanced in the game and who've been playing the game for a long time just want to have a lot of space, and they just want to have a lot of space to work with. And so I think that it's entirely possible that a lot of the mid-range bases just get skipped over a lot. And that's one reason why I'm staying in in what's it called? Squillonis Brewing Company. Yeah, that's why I'm staying in Squillonis Brewing Company, because I always go to Whitney Field, and I was like, I don't want to go to Whitney Field this time. I'm tired of Whitney Field. Let's stay at more of a mid-range base. And so so I think I don't like that we sort of hollowed out we basically motivated people to sort of hollow out the middle of the base system and just only go to like your early base and then jump as soon as you can to your late base. I wish there were stronger reasons to invest in some of these mid-range bases, just to sort of keep the investment even across the board. Magic Man says nobody likes Whitney Field. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say nobody about things, just because you tend to sort of develop little communities around you of like people who think the same way about stuff, who've talked to each other a lot, coordinated, and figured out their sort of shared opinion. So there probably are definitely groups of people who consider Whitney Field to be garbage for whatever reason. But there's also people who like it. I like it. For one thing, I think the sieges are extra easy there. So... Twisted Logic asks, thought of doing upgrades for mid-range bases to unlock extra slots? So that actually is the way that when Brian was designing the mid-range bases in Providence Ridge, our fourth map that we added to the game a couple of years ago, year and a half ago, something like that. Anyway, he specifically made those Clio drop slots in the warehouse and at Rusty Rosie's, specifically so that the base would be small when you first got there, but there was something you could do as sort of a late game action to upgrade it and add a slot. So that, though, in theory, that kind of thing is the kind of thing that we think is a good idea. Anyway, so, okay, I've gone over time by a significant margin, so we should probably wrap up this session, but this was a lot of fun. So, we've made some progress. We got through the early chapters of the Builder Legacy, which is helpful. It's a lot of... Oh, here's a question. If I don't stick around... So I'm pretty sure that once this mission that I'm on right now, Strength in Numbers, once it starts back up again... I'm pretty sure that it can just detect that the sniper rifle is already the sniper tower is already being built, and it'll just be satisfied by it. Because I was about to say, if I quit the game right now, is that going to cause a problem with this mission? It's not, if that caused a problem with the mission, we would have heard about it a long time ago. So I'm pretty sure that that's not going to be a big deal. Anyway, so I think this has been a useful conversation today. We talked about the crash bug that we were all dealing with. We spent some time talking about facility mods. A few other things. Oh, I gave you a little bit of errata on one of our bounties that I just completed. So next session, I guess part of it is just going to be doing whatever my leader, whatever his name is, whatever Preacher tells us to do to keep that Builder Legacy going. I also want to kill some more zombies with blades so that I can get that last bounty. And that's probably going to be it. I'm really hoping that we can wrap up this... I'm really hoping we can wrap up this legacy this weekend, so I can sort of take a little break from State of Decay 2, blast through some other games, and then come back the next time we do a major update. So I am, for those of you who are watching me live, I am planning on continuing to stream. I'm going to quit playing State of Decay 2 for a bit, but I've got other games that I'm really interested in trying out. So please stick around if you want to do that. But if you're watching this later on YouTube, this video is about to end. So you can hit that button to subscribe to my channel. The next State of Decay 2 video is going to be right there. And I'll put something else here. So, whatever you feel like, go and click on some stuff.